Good morning, happy Saturday, and happy New Year. How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's having a good time so far, and hope you had fun last night and stay safe, right? My name is Ray. I am happy to start off the new year with a workout. So, for today, or the theme for this month, is actually going to be specifically working with the spiral lines. So everything we're going to do today is going to be relatively rotationally based, all right? So I do want you to have access to all three sticks, two long and one short. I have a squat rack behind me, but that's just going to be effectively a wall and a corner of a wall. Because again, we are getting into rotation, so we're going to need to be driving the stick into something stable. So we're going to keep it mostly upper body spiral line focused, all right? So we're going to go through a full body warm up. We're just going to start off with working with a little bit of flow and such, and then we're going to cool down working those spiral lines as well, stretching those out. Sounds good? Let's get started, folks. Okay, so first thing I want to do a double monkey hang to a T-spine extension flow here. So for this, I'm going to take a step back, okay, and I'm actually going to have my feet square about roughly hip width apart. Toes going to be pointed forward here. Now, I'm going to have the sticks about a foot or so in front of the line of my toe, about 2 feet actually, in front of the line of my toes here. Both hands are going to be up high on the stick. Now, from this position, I'm going to step forward with my right foot, drop down, get into a hang. Good. Rotate to the right, then to the left. Getting some adjustments. I'm going to step back, and then I'm going to extend my arms out, driving my hips back, straightening those arms out, come back up to a tall position, step forward with the left, drop that back knee down, same thing, rotate to the left, and then the right, good, back to center, step back, drive those hands out, hips away, opening up that T-spine, really lengthening it here. Step forward with the right, drop that back knee down. Good, get a full hang, rotate to the right, then to the left. Good, back to center, step back, extend those hands out. Good, let's go one more time on the left. Step forward with the left, sink that back hip down, get a full hang here, rotate left, and rotate right. Good. Back to center, push back up, extend. Excellent, good, and ease off. Let's take a second. We're only gonna use one stick right now. Now for this, we are gonna be in a split stance position. We're going to be working with rotation and pulling and pushing the stick. So we're going to compress and lengthen that stick here. So I'm actually going to start from the side. I want to have my left leg forward and right leg back. It's okay if you have a little bit of a wider stance, if you need to maintain your balance. Otherwise, you want to have that back foot in line with the hip. So I'm going to have my left foot forward here. Sticks behind my mid back. I do want to straighten out that back leg, so I want to extend that hip, squeeze that glute, extend that knee. I'm going to load that front leg here, okay, keep a nice good balance. Now from this position, I'm going to hinge and then rotate the right end of the stick down in front of the line of my toes on my left foot, and then I'm going to pull the stick apart. So you're going to feel that upper back activate here. Good, now I'm going to compress, let's try to shorten that stick. Might feel a little bit of that mid-back activate. Good, ease off. I'm gonna come back to a neutral position, still staying hinged. Now I'm gonna bring the left end of the stick down on the inner part of my left leg. Pull the stick apart. You wanna keep that right hip facing towards the floor. Good, compress. Really gonna feel that T-spine start to open up and activate here. Ease off, come back to neutral. Rotate the right end of the stick down. Try to get to mid-toe on your left foot. Pull apart. Good. Make sure you're breathing here. Compress. Excellent, only about 20-30%, nothing too crazy here. Ease off, come back to neutral, rotate the left end down, try to get further across, pull apart. Really feel that rib cage open up, compress. 2, 1, ease off. Good, come back to neutral, push off that front leg, and ease off. Now we're gonna switch sides. So now I'm gonna go with my right leg forward, left leg is gonna be back. I'm gonna take a relatively big split. Remember, you can always adjust your position as you need to here, either taking a bigger split or taking a wider base. So hands are on a stick here, back leg is straight, driving that hip into extension, so that left glute should be tight here. I'm gonna shift forward, okay? Get a hinge. Now from this position, rotate that left end of the stick down, place it on the floor, pull apart. Good, hold. Make sure you're breathing and compress. Good. Ease off, come back to neutral, rotate the right end down. Excellent, pull apart. Get that rotation. Compress. Try to keep that balance. Ease off, come back to neutral, rotate the left end down a little further across, pull apart. Breathe. Really feel that rotation in the T-spine. Might get the hip working a little bit too. Good, ease and compress. Whoop, lose balance a little bit. Good, ease off, come back to neutral, rotate the right end down, get further across if you can. Pull apart, breathe. Keep that tension, compress. Try to shorten that stick. Breathe, ease off, come back to neutral, stand up, and relax. Excellent, good. We're gonna get the second stick here. We're gonna do hip airplanes. So for this one, we're gonna be on one leg. We're using the sticks for balance. So don't be afraid to adjust the sticks as you need to. So I'm gonna have my feet, so start with my feet together here. And I'm gonna start with my left leg down. I'm gonna have the sticks at about 11 and 1 o'clock here, if we're looking at the clock system. And my hands are gonna be roughly about rib cage height. Now from here, what I'm gonna do, keep my left leg grounded, make sure that left foot stays nice and active. I'm gonna hover the right foot, and I'm going to get into a single leg RDL. Not gonna go that far, just a little bit here, right? Now from this position, I wanna open up my hip. So I'm gonna open up my right hip, really driving that left glute, squeezing it. Now I'm going to rotate my right hip inwards towards my left hip. Good, hold that position, open the hip up again. Try to keep your knee in the middle as you do this. Good. And then rotate that right hip in. You're gonna get a nice good stretch in the deeper hip tissues. Good, open the hip up. Almost like you're trying to open your pelvis up towards the ceiling. Good, rotate that right hip down and in. Good, back to center, stand up and ease off. Let's go ahead and do the other side. So going back to that 11 and 1 o'clock position here. Right foot stays grounded, make sure it's gripping the ground. Hover that left foot. You're gonna go into that hinge, keeping that back leg straight. Excellent. We're gonna open that hip up. Good. Remember, we're using the sticks for balance here. Now I'm gonna rotate that left hip down and in. Still making sure we're keeping a neutral knee position over the toes. Open the left hip up. Breathe. Good. Rotate in. Breathe. One more time each way. Open the hip up. Good. Rotate that hip in. Get a nice good stretch in that hip. Excellent. Back to center. Stand up and ease off. Excellent. Now we're going to exchange the 2 long sticks for a short stick. Although, technically, you don't have to. You can still go with the long stick if you don't have access to a shorter stick here. Now we're going to go with this low case. We're going to do a push-pull cadence. We're going to be at about 20% here. We're just going through to activate. Like I mentioned, a lot of the strength training drills that we are going to do is going to be more so focused on the upper body. So I'm going to take about shoulder width stance. If you're going to be pointed forward, I want to squeeze my glutes as usual to make sure I lock that lumbar in this place. I'm going to take a pretty wide grip here. You can go a little bit more narrow if you're really mobile. I'm just going to start off wider. So from here, I want to pull the stick apart. Remember, it's about 20%. I'm going to slowly bring the stick up overhead. We want to keep control of the rib cage. We don't want it to flare out. I'm going to bring it up to an overhead position. Once I get back as far as I can, I'm going to slightly increase that pulling tension to 40%. Pull a little harder. Excellent. Now I'm going to compress the stick to 20% and bring it down slowly. Excellent. Good. Once the stick touches your pelvis, pull the stick apart again. Bring it up overhead, 20%. Good. Keep control of that rib cage. You're going to feel that core working. Pull apart a little harder. Try to get a little further back. Compress the stick. Bring it back down. All the way to the pelvis. Good. Pull the stick apart. Come up. Excellent. Make sure you're keeping those glutes tight. Rib cage down. Ribs to hips. Back. Now pull apart harder. Try to get the stick a little further back. Compress. Bring it back down. Good. And ease off. Excellent. Good. Now we're going to do a teeter-totter with that same kind of drill. The stick's going to be in an overhead position. What we're going to do is we're going to pull, the stick to one side. We want to make sure to keep that other arm straight here. Both arms will be relatively straight. We're going to go back to that shoulder width stance. Toes are forward. Grip out wide. From here, I'm going to bring the stick up to an overhead position. From here. Now from here, I'm going to pull the stick apart 20%. Now with my left hand, I'm going to pull harder, getting my right bicep to my ear. Good. Then bring that back to neutral. Pull harder with the right arm. Get my left bicep to my left ear. Good. Back to center. Pull with the left. Keeping that right arm straight. Good. Pull with the right. Keeping that left arm straight. Good. Let's go a couple more. Pull to the left. Keeping the right arm straight. Good. Pull to the right. Keeping that left arm straight. One more time each way. Pull to the left. Make sure you got a full grip on the stick. Excellent. Pull to the right. Back to center. Back down. And ease off. Excellent. Good. So everything should be pretty warmed up here. So now we're going to get into the fun stuff. So we're going to take one long stick. We're going to be in a split stance. Now for this, we are going to be driving the stick. Again, we're working with those spiral lines. So we are going to be activating rotation here. So we're going to step back. And I'm going to have the stick going towards my right. So that's actually going to be important. We're going to tension that spiral line, but also rotating the neck, right? So the stick's going to my right, and I want you to remember, we're going to rotate our head to the right to shorten that spiral line. It starts at the neck, goes down to the scap, rib cage, and then to the hip. Now, being in a split stance also kind of allows us to further shorten this that spiral line on that side. So I want my inside leg to be forward here, and I want my hands, both hands, to be directly in front of my chest. Now from here, you can adjust your position like I am. I want to take a pretty big split, drop into that split a little bit, make sure I got tension on both legs here, keeping both hands in front. Now from this position here, make sure this front leg isn't moving in and out. You want to try to keep it as neutral as you possibly can. Keeping the arms straight, I want to drive my hands into the corner of the rack here, or the wall. Now from this position here, I'm going to rotate my head to the right, increasing that tension, so push to 70%. Push. 3, 2, 1. Ease off, bring your head back forward, and relax. Okay, so again, we're trying to shorten this spiral line here. So now we're actually gonna do something a little different. We wanna actually try to bring the rib cage a little closer down towards that right hip. So left rib cage to right hip here. So I'm actually gonna kind of turn to the side a little bit more. I'm gonna adjust my position to be a little bit more out away from the stick. So I actually have to rotate to that forward position here. Right leg is still forward. I'm rotated to my right a bit. Now from this position, I'm still driving the stick into the wall. So push with 50% force, so drive. Good, hold that position. Try to bring your left rib cage towards your right hip. And then rotate your head to your right. Hold. Should be at 50% here. You should feel increased tension. 3, 2, 1. Ease off and relax. So we're getting the obliques, getting internal and external obliques. We're getting the serratus. We're getting a lot of different tissues here. So let's do that one. Same one again. Start off with a little bit more of a rotated position. So rotating to our right, 6 going to the right. Right leg is forward. From here, drive the stick 50%. Good. Try to bring that left rib cage to the right hip. Excellent. Now rotate your head to the right. Hold. Breathe. 3, 2, 1, and ease off. Relax. We're going to switch sides here. So now I'm going to go out to my left. So whatever side we're rotating to or rotating towards, we're always turning our head that same direction. So try to remember that as we go through some of these drills here. So I'm going to get set in that same position. Both hands are starting directly in similar line here. Outside hand is up towards the ceiling. Getting a nice good split. From here, arms are straight. Drive the stick into the wall. Good. Hold that position 50%. Rotate your head to the left. Drive the stick harder. 70%. Gonna feel those obliques working pretty hard there. 3, 2, 1. Head back forward and ease off. Excellent. Now we're gonna step out a little bit. Again, we're gonna get a little bit more rotation. So the stick actually has to be angled back a little bit more. So when I changed my angle on the last one, I actually technically changed the angle of the stick as well. So right leg is back, 6 angled out, rotated to my left more, right? So we're in that more rotated position here. From this position here, hold the arms straight out, keep them straight, drive that stick into the wall 50%, bring that right rib cage to the left hip. You're gonna feel increased tension. Rotate your head to the left. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Rotate back forward. Ease off. Excellent. Good. We're gonna do one more time. Hands are out. Remember, we're rotated, folks. You should not be directly at 12 o'clock. From here, drive the stick into the wall, 50%, push. Good. Bring that right rib to the left hip. Excellent. Rotate to your left. Hold. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Back forward. And ease off. Excellent. Good. We're going to place down the long stick. We're going to grab that short stick now. So we are going to have a mixed grip on the stick here. So we're going to do a push-pull, but we're going to have the stick held diagonally. Now from here, we can tension the lines differently as we go into it. We are going to be actively rotating side to side when we change from compression to lengthening. So try to be aware of that. Now, we're going to start with our left hand with the downward grip, and then we're going to have our right hand with a palms up grip. You want to keep the stick directly out in front here. You can start off from a elbow bent position or keeping the stick closer to you, kind of like so. If you want to start off from the easiest regression, but if you want to make that a progression harder, start off with the hands out directly. Now, keep control of the rib cage and your posture. So I'm going to have a square stance, both feet are pointed forward, and I'm going to have my stance at shoulder width. And actually, I'll start with you guys. I'll start in here. Now, from this position here, we're going to first pull the stick apart, about 50%. Now, I'm going to actually rotate to my right. So since I'm getting posterior engagement, I'm going to rotate to my right, pulling that stick apart the entire time. Hips stay forward. Excellent. Hold that position. Now I'm going to rotate my head to the left. So now I'm really shortening that spiral line. I'm going to bring my head back to neutral. Come back to center. Compress the stick. Rotate to the left. Hips forward. Now I'm going to rotate my head to the right. Almost like I'm looking over my right shoulder. Excellent. Come back to neutral. Come forward and ease off. Good. Let's actually flip our hands, do the other side. So from here, elbows are in, sticks in close. First stop by pulling apart. Excellent. We're going to rotate to the left since we're getting that posterior engagement. Good. Rotate your head to the right. Keep pulling apart, 50%. Back to neutral. Bring the stick back forward. Compress the stick. Rotate to your right. Excellent. Rotate your head to the left. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Come back to center and ease off. Let's actually progress it. Now we're going to actually extend those hands out. Switch the hands. So now my left hand's down, right hand is up, and I'll actually turn to the side here. Still going to be at 50%. Arms are straight. Get into that nice good stance here. Pull the stick apart. Excellent. Rotate to the right. Hips stay forward, so now it's harder to get more rotation, right? Now we're going to rotate our head to the left, looking over the left shoulder. Good. Bring the head back to neutral. Rotate back forward. Compress the stick. Rotate to the left. Look over your right shoulder. Rotate that head. 3, 2, 1. Keep compressing on that stick. Head back to neutral. Come back forward and ease off. Switch those hands. Hands are out. Same thing. Now we're going to pull apart. Excellent. Rotate to the left. Remember, hips stay forward. Keep pulling apart. Look over your right shoulder. Rotate that head. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. 1, head back to neutral. Bring the stick back forward. Excellent, compress the stick. Rotate to the right. Excellent. Look, rotate to your left, or rotate your head to your left. Look over that left shoulder. Excellent. Bring your head back to neutral. Stick back forward and ease off. Good. So you should really be feeling those obliques slide up. So when we're actually compressing and rotating towards that hand that's down, we're actually shortening here. Right? So that's why we're rotating the head. Now, because we then further shorten that particular line. Now we're actually going to go with a really simple upper body push-pull, more so pulling. So what we're going to do here, I'm actually going to have the stick in front. I'm actually going to move the camera closer. Sorry about that, folks. So move the camera a little closer. So I still have the short stick, but you can go with the long stick, whatever's more comfortable. Now, I'm going to have a squared stance. This is the most basic position to start off with. We're going to have our elbows at 90 degrees. Now, we can use a door frame because we can switch from the stick being in front to the stick being in back. But for today, I'm just going to focus on the stick being in front here. I'm going to take a wide stance. Feet are pointed forward at shoulder width apart. Elbows bent at 90 degrees. Now, the height of the stick is at my rib cage here. What I'm going to do from this position is I want to resist rotating along with the stick. So I'm going to pull with my inside hand and reflexively push with that outside hand. Good. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Ease off. Excellent. Pretty easy to start off with, right? Let's get that rotation of the neck in. So from here, hands in, 50%. Pull with that inside hand, push with that outside hand. Good. Rotate your head to your left. Keep pulling with that inside hand. Good. Rotate your head back forward. Ease off and relax. Let's go one more time. Get into a nice good stance. Elbows in. Pull with that inside hand. Push with the outside hand, 50% still. Nice and tall. Rotate your head to the left. Should notice increased tension. Becomes a little bit more challenging. Good. Rotate your head back forward and ease off. Now we're going to switch sides. So I'm actually going to turn around for this one here. Kind of turn around. So sticks in the same position. Now sticks going to my left side. We're going to do that same thing here. So you can actually see the action of my back with me with my back turned now. So from here, elbows in at 90 degrees. Nice, good, strong stance. Pull with that inside hand, push with the outside hand. We're not rotating the head yet. Good, and ease off. Take a second. Now we're going to add in rotating the head to the right. Just get set in position, create that tension, pull with that inside hand, push the outside hand. Rotate your head to the right. Good. 3, 2, 1. Back forward. Ease off. Take a second. Let's go one more time, folks. Get set in position. Pull with that inside hand. Push with the outside. Create that force. 50%. Rotate your head to the right. Good. Back forward. And ease off. Excellent. Good. Now we're going to get into the cool down. So for the cool down, we are going to start off with stretching that spiral line. So if you have a pad or something for you to kneel on, this is the perfect time to grab it. I'm actually going to grab a long stick here. So we're only going to use one stick, and I'm going to start Actually, I'll start with my right knee down. Sorry. Left knee's gonna be forward, right knee's gonna be down. I'm gonna have the stick angled into corner of a wall, something stable. Now we've done something pretty similar to this before. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go into activating the pelvis, doing a posterior tilt, because we are gonna stretch that hip flexor. We're also going to shift forward, and we're gonna get some rotation because this left hand's gonna be on the end of the stick, and we're gonna be in a rotated position here. So as we actually shift our hips forward, we're gonna further lengthen that spiral line. We're also bringing the pec into it as well. Make sure you're squeezing that glute. I cannot stress that enough. So from here, the bottom of the stick is in line with the outside of my foot, not too far out. My right hip is facing forward, so I'm gonna drive that back foot down, do a posterior pelvic tilt. So I'm tucking my pelvis posteriorly, squeezing this right glute. My left hand is stretched directly out to the side. Now from this position here, I'm going to shift my hips forward, and now I'm getting some rotation here in the upper body. Now with this right hand, I'm going to reach across, reaching to 9 o'clock. So I'm getting rotation here. Excellent. I'm gonna bring that right hand back to my chest, and I'm gonna ease off that stretch here and relax. Good. We're actually gonna change the angle of the stick. So now I'm gonna go with more of an overhead position, a little bit more of an overhead position. I also wanna have my left hand above my shoulder here. We're gonna do that same thing. Drive that back foot down lightly, posterior pelvic tilt, squeeze that right glute, shift those hips forward, split the hips. So now we kind of get a little bit of a different part of the shoulder. Now I'm gonna rotate or reach my right hand out to 9 o'clock again, really lengthening that line here, all the way down to the hip. Good, 3, 2, 1. Bring that right hand back, ease off, nice and easy. We're gonna go one more time. Make sure you're breathing here, it's exceedingly important. You don't wanna feel like you're tightening up. If you're getting too tight, your breathing becomes really short, back out of that position a little bit, all right? Same thing, drive that back foot down, tuck that pelvis, squeeze that right glute. Left hand is still out in that same position. Shift those hips forward. Good. Reach that right hand out to 9 o'clock. Get that rotation. You're gonna feel that shoulder blade activating here. Gonna feel a nice good stretch in that left pec, right hip. Really opening up that rib cage. 3, 2, 1. Come back forward, ease off, nice and slow. Let's go ahead and switch sides here, folks. We're gonna do that same thing. 6 in that same position, just right outside that front foot, right outside the front foot. Back foot is down. We're going to drive the top of that back foot into the floor here. We're starting with the stick at about shoulder height, maybe a little lower. Drive the back foot down, tuck that pelvis, that posterior tilt, squeeze that left glute here. We're gonna split those hips, shift those hips forward. Good. Take that left hand, reach across to 3 o'clock. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Come back forward. Ease off, nice and slow. Excellent. Now we bring that right hand up to more overhead position. You're gonna do that same thing. Drive that back foot down, tuck that pelvis, squeeze a glute, keep that right hand up nice and high. Shift those hips forward, split those hips here. Take that left hand, reach to 3 o'clock. Take advantage of that rotation here. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Come back to center and ease off. Relax. We're going to go one more time. So I'm not sure if you guys noticed that as we actually go into that rotation, we're shortening here, right? We're We're shortening that left side to that right rib cage to kind of get that rotation. So drive that back foot down, tuck the pelvis, squeeze the left glute, shift those hips forward, reach that left hand out to 3 o'clock. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Come back forward and ease off. Excellent. Good. Now we're going to get into a drill kind of like this called scorpion. So we are going to be face down for this. So if you want to have like a maybe yoga mat or a towel on the floor, that's totally fine. So for this, we are going to be face down position. The stick is going to be under us. We're going to need to create tension on a stick, pulling apart. We are going to have the hips turn over, going side to side. It's going to feel like a pretty good stretch here. Make sure you're squeezing your glute with the side that you're rotating towards. So you want to make sure we're protecting that lumbar spine or that low back. So I'm going to go with a face down position. Stick is in the middle. I have my hands reaching out on the stick here. I'm actually going to move to the side a little bit. Make sure I'm in line with the camera. So I have my thumbs facing away from one another on top of the stick here. Now from this position, I want to actually keep some extension in the spine. So I don't want to be rounded over. Keep extension in that upper mid back. I want to pull the stick apart, only about 20% tension. So my hips are flat to the floor. Now what I'm going to do from here, I'm going to bring my left hip in extension so that left glute's going to fire. And then I'm going to rotate my hips over, opening up my left hip towards the wall to my left. Good, and I'm going to come back to center. Excellent, now I'm going to do the same with the opposite side. Still pulling the stick apart, about 20%. Bring that right hip into extension. Rotate up and over. It's okay if you bend that leg. Make sure you're pulling that stick apart here, folks. Good. Come back down. Gonna feel the hips open up, the spine, getting a lot of rotation. Bring that left hip into extension. Bring it up and over, almost like I'm trying to get my left foot to touch my right hand. Good. Breathe. Come back down. Excellent. Right hip into extension. Try to get that right foot to the left hand. Breathe. Excellent. Come back forward. Let's go again one more time each way. Pull the stick apart. Left hip in extension. Bring the left leg over. Might notice you're getting a little bit more range. Good. Bring the hip back down. Right hip into extension. Bring it up and over. Make sure you're breathing. Good. Bring it back down. And ease off. Excellent. Good. So now we're going to go to a standing position. So from here, we're going to do a bow and arrow type of move. However, it's going to be standing in a squared stance, and the stick is actually going to be on the inside of our feet here. Now, as we switch sides, it's just going to switch sides here. It's not going to be directly in the middle. So I have a relatively wide stance. Feet are about shoulder width pointed forward here. I have my right hand at the top of the stick here, going with the rope grip. Now from this position here, I'm going to start by hinging my hips back. And I'm going to have the stick in line with my rib cage. So if I actually turn to the side, this is where the stick is, right? So from here, I'm going to hold that position. I'm going to place my left hand directly right where my right rib cage is on a stick. And then I'm going to extend that left hand out, reflexively pull back with the right hand. Breathe. Bring that left hand back in. Excellent. Drive that left hand out again. Breathe. Looking at the floor. Bring the left hand back in. Just push it out one more time. Drive that left hand straight out to 3 o'clock. Excellent. Back in. Nice and slow. Let go with the left hand. Stand up and ease off. We're going to switch sides. So sticks in on the inside of my left foot here. Left hand is up top. Arm is straight. I'm going to hinge back. Keep the stick in line with the rib cage here, folks. So we get a little bit of a hang, stretching that pec, stretching that shoulder. Should be feeling pretty good here. Take that right hand, place it on the stick by the left rib cage. Drive that right hand out. Good. Bring it back in nice and slow. Excellent. Extend that right hand out. Breathe. Back in. Nice and easy. Good. Extend that right hand out. Excellent. Back in. Nice and slow. And ease off. Excellent. One last drill. We're going to do a rotational drill. We're going to be in a split squat position. Stick needs to come on the outside of both legs, so it has to end up on the outside of both legs here. So I'm going to start with my left leg forward, right leg is going to be back. You can widen out that base. It might be better for a lot of people to start off by doing that just so that they don't lose balance. Now I'm going to take the sticks in my left hand, I'm going to bring it on the outside of my left leg, and I'm going to place the bottom of the stick on the outside of my right foot. All right. Now from here, I'm going to sink forward into that front leg here, my left leg. I'm going to have my left hand right below the end of the stick. I'm going to take my right hand, reach across. We're getting rotation immediately here. So we can use this as a stretch, or we can use this as an activation drill. That's the good thing about this, it's pretty versatile. Now from here, I'm going to lightly drive my left leg. You notice that I externally rotated the leg here into the stick, and I'm going to lightly pull back. So pull myself to a nice, good, tall position. I'm going to let go of my left hand, pulling the stick with my right, and rotate to my left. Excellent, good. I'm going to come back to center, touch the stick, and then I'm going to rotate to my left again. Excellent. Hold that position. Excellent. Come back forward, touch the stick. One more time, rotate to the left. Make sure you're pulling with the right hand. Excellent. Come back forward. Ease off. Nice and slow. We're going to switch sides. So right leg is forward. Remember, sticks in the right hand. Needs to come on the outside of both legs. So it's on the outside of my right leg and on the outside of my left foot. Now from here, load that front leg. Shift your weight forward on that front leg here. Left hand reaches across, grabs into the stick here. Now I'm going to drive my right knee out, externally rotate, pull to a nice tall position, let go with the right hand, open up, rotate to the right. Good. Come back forward, open up to the right again. Excellent. One more time, folks. One more time. Come back forward, touch the stick, rotate to the right. Come back forward. Ease off, nice and slow. And that is it. that concludes today's stick mobility class. Thank you everybody for joining me on your New Year's Day. I hope everybody had a good class. Hope everybody had a good, safe New Year's. As usual, happy Saturday. Have a good, safe weekend. And I'll catch y'all on the next one.